I'm now in the center of one of the most famous temples in China. I don't understand how they cross the intersections red light everywhere. Just look at this. Buddha with a swastika on his chest. On one of the buildings there in the back, there are dry underpants hanging. To go into the underground kingdom under the temple, just use the escalator. Imagine the foundation of this temple was laid 1800 years ago. It's a pedestrian street with these little side streets, all sorts of little shops, cool installations in old Shanghai style. Very cool.
Let it go.
I don't understand how they cross the intersections. It's red everywhere. Just look at this. I hope you could see it. The red light was everywhere and still everyone rides their mopeds anyway and everyone walks. Why? Let's open the door to one of the most famous Buddhist temples in Shanghai, the Jade Buddha Temple. This temple was founded in 1882 during the Qing dynasty and was built specifically to house two Jade Buddha statues brought from Burma, now Myanmar. One statue represents a seated Buddha, the other smaller one a reclining Buddha. Both statues are carved from white jade. The larger of the two statues, the seated Buddha, is almost 2 meters long and weighs about 3 tons. It depicts Buddha in the lotus position with a serene expression. The smaller statue, the reclining Buddha, represents the peaceful transition of Buddha into Nirvana. This statue is about 1 meter long and is decorated with carvings. And the most interesting part is the swastika symbol on the statues. Friends, I'm now in the center of the Jade Buddha Temple. And what can we find here? Turns out, a very fascinating thing. There is a Buddha with swastika on his chest. If you're familiar with Buddhism and the symbol, this will be nothing new for you. But if you're not, you will most likely find it surprising. How is it possible for a Buddha to have a swastika? Well, for many of us, the swastika is associated with fascism. Well, let's unpack. What is going on here? What is this? How? Was Hitler here? Actually, the swastika symbol is quite common on Buddhist statues, especially in Buddhist traditions throughout Asia. In Buddhism, the swastika has positive connotations, not the negative ones, acquired in the Western world due to its association with Nazism. The word swastika is of Indian origin and consists of 2 Sanskrit roots, su, good, well, and asti is there is, that is implying good and well-being. In Buddhism, the swastika is a sacred symbol that represents health, luck, and prosperity, which is what the symbol's name says. The swastika was used in Buddhist art and symbolism for thousands of years and is believed to originate in ancient Indian religions. It can be found in Buddhist statues, stupas, and sacred scriptures and other religious artifacts. How did Buddhism come to China? From from India, which makes sense, around the 1st century CE and gradually assimilated in Chinese culture, giving rise to various schools. Key Buddhist concepts include the Four Noble Truths, the truth of suffering, the cause of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the truth about the path that leads to the cessation of suffering. And also the Noble Eightfold Path: right view, right resolve, right speech, right conduct, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right samadhi. Hope you found this information interesting, but let's not dwell on this and move on. Where are we going? To yet another popular Shanghai temple, Qingyang Temple. This temple may appeal to you not only for what's inside, but also for what's outside. It is located at the west end of Nanjing Road. If you have watched previous parts, you already know that it is a really long shopping street. So, there are a lot of cafes and shops around the temple, and also one of the most fashionable shopping malls in all of Shanghai. What do I see right next to it? Look, I'll show you. I wonder if the builders of this wonder could have imagined that there would be an IKEA set up opposite of their building. And not just an IKEA, all this. The original temple was first built in the 3rd century CE, during the Three Kingdoms period of ancient China. It was originally located beside the Shunzhou Creek and was moved to the Jinyang site in 1216. That is, it's been on this site for about 800 years. The temple was built during the Qing dynasty, but was destroyed by local Bolsheviks during the Cultural Revolution and turned into a plastics factory. In 1983, the site was returned to its original purpose and the temple was restored. Nowadays, the temple officially professes Buddhism. In 2009, a 15-ton silver statue of Buddha Rudra cast in pure silver was installed here. What's remarkable about this temple from my point of view as a visitor, it's fun to watch people on the main square throw coins up there for luck. Walking around all these terraces is also really cool. There are several courtyards here, several temples. Five main religious movements are officially recognized in China. Buddhism, as mentioned earlier, Buddhism was brought to China from India around the 1st century CE, and over time acquired unique Chinese characteristics, leading to the emergence of several schools. Taoism. It is a religion and philosophy based on the texts written by Lao Tzu and Xuanzhou. Taoism emphasizes harmony with the Tao, the basis and law of all things. Islam came to China with Arab traders around the 7th century CE. The largest Muslim communities in China are the Hui and Uyghurs, who live in the northwestern regions. Catholicism. European missionaries brought it to China in the 13th century. Can you tell me who was the famous traveler who hung out here in China in the 13th century? That's right, Marco Polo. It became more widespread in the 16th century with the advent of Jesuits. The Catholic Church in China operates under strict restrictions established by the state. Protestantism. Protestantism began to spread in China in the 19th century thanks to Western missionaries. Same as Catholicism, Protestant churches in China are subject to government control and restrictions. And finally, Confucianism. Also, Confucianism is often regarded as a philosophical system rather than a religion. The teaching of morality, ethics, and social order have had a profound influence on Chinese culture and society for thousands of years. As often happens here, there in the back, on one of the buildings, underpants are hanging to dry. Well, it's normal to see this kind of thing here. We're not here to talk about underpants, but I had to say, how much does it cost to visit? Well, does it really matter when you're in a temple that's almost 2,000 years old? Okay, it is $50. I mean, Chinese ones. Other religions and beliefs are also practiced in China, including various forms of Hinduism, Sikhism, Baha'i, Judaism, and Christianity. It's worth noting that China has a significant number of atheists, according to some estimates over 50%, partly due to the atheistic ideology promoted by the Chinese Communist Party. The country maintains an official policy of religious tolerance, but all religious groups are subject to strict control by the state. But here's the kicker: in some places in China, shamanism is still alive, as well as syncretism, a traditional interweaving of religion and philosophy when a person's belief in one thing does not exclude belief in the other. I want to separately touch on Confucianism. It was founded by Confucius 500 years BCE and developed by his followers into a philosophical teaching. It is important to understand that Confucianism defended structured society and relied on moral principles. Imagine China, or anywhere for that matter, 2,000 years ago. It is basically sticks and stones, some kind of king with a palace. People are fishing or walking about the bamboo grove all day. No TV, no internet, no literacy. We didn't buy the calligraphy brush at the market in previous episodes, so we can't write. What structures and principles does Confucianism offer? 5 types of social relations: parent-child, ruler-subject, elder brother, younger brother, husband and wife, and also friend and friend. What is all this being promoted for? To understand who respects whom, who obeys whom, and who's responsible for whom. At that time, harmony and stability were important to the country, not metal, coal, or locomotives. In Imperial China, Confucianism was the philosophy of scholarless thinkers. As for other religions in China, Islam, for example, is preached by about 1 to 2% of the population. You could say that's not much, but it is actually about 20 to 30 million people, among which many Kazakhs, Kyrgyz, Tatars, Uzbeks, and Tajiks, who also live in China. Christianity is practiced here by about 70 million people, which is 5% of the total population. But overall, China is now the most secular society. According to data published in The Inquirer, about 60% of Chinese residents are non-believers. And just like in vast mythological works, you'll be carried down under the temple by an escalator into the kingdom of Hades, the Buddhist Hades. Friends, this concludes the episode about Shanghai temples. Don't forget to watch the other episodes about Shanghai, and of course subscribe if you are interested in traveling. If you're interested in learning languages, visit our website smaps.com. There you can get advice on studying abroad, on visa issues, and everything related to studying abroad. All my links and helpful resources are in the description of this video. Please go visit, subscribe, follow, so we can stay in touch and you can stay updated on the relevant info. See you in the next episodes.